welcome friends and guests. We're so happy to have this setting. It's very nice and good crowd today. Thank you for coming. And I want to say hello in Czech. So ahoy.
Ahoy.
Ahoy. And dobré ráno. Good morning. So I'd like to share with you a very brief summary of hundreds of years of history to better understand what nationalism is and who nationalist composers are, and to appreciate this fascinating country once called Czechoslovakia and is now called the Czech Republic since 1993. This country was not even on the map for centuries. It was in large part governed by the Habsburg Empire, Ottoman Empire, Austria, Poland, Hungary, Russia, and then Germany before the country we know today. You can see the map on the back of your program. You can see the surrounding countries and how vulnerable they were to different powers. So going back as far as the 14th century, during the 15th century, this country was then ruled by the Holy Roman Empire, the people always struggling against religious control and governed by papal states, originating in Austria up until the 1800s. So moving along way ahead, 1848 and plus, during the 19th century, there was an exciting movement happening throughout the neighboring Europe that is now known as the Age of Enlightenment. This popular movement led people to challenge the government's authority and religious dogma, the desire to separate church from state. It was also a quest for reasoning, knowledge, appreciation of art, music, and fine living. Then came Art Nouveau, especially popular in France with the artist Toulouse-Lautrec, that was expressed in vivid colored posters, architecture, and jewelry, all imitating nature with flowers and climbing plants. Unfortunately, this all ended during World War I. Although during the 19th century, the Republic was greatly divided between Czechs and Slavics, now Slovakia, there was always a sense of pride and nationalism. However, there would still be communist rule for another 40 more years. Now, in 1939, during World War II, the German Nazis had domination, especially in the capital of Prague, and changed the population in Czechoslovakia, also known as Bohemia. This country that once had the largest Jewish population in the whole of Europe would be horrifically changed after the war. So yes, there was great antagonism between the Germans and the remaining Czech population. So after a long process with the involvement of the U.S., the Czechs were guaranteed rights of their own parliament, legislation, and language. With the help of the League of Nations, the British government, and Winston Churchill, the status of the provincial government was granted in July of 1941 to 45. So continuing onward, you can see how I'm trying to condense massive amount of history into one page, or not even a page. So bear with me, please. So continuing onward, this country in brief went from German rule to communism to socialism to eventually democratic rule, but not until the 1960s. So the definition of Czech nationalism is the determination to defend the land at any cost. It is also defined as the close relationship of the people to their landscape, culture, and soil, with agriculture as their economic growth. The beautiful capital of Prague, which I hope to travel to someday, it's gorgeous, became more than a place which nationalism sentiment flourished. It became a major center of modern art and music. So a very rich history. If you get a chance to watch any of the history channels or Rick Steve Travels, you can learn so much more than I am giving you today. So let's talk about Dietrich Smetana, or Smetana in the other regions. It's debatable. So Smetana, for the sake of talking, was born on March 2nd, 1824, 200 years ago this year. He died May 12, 1884 in the city of Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic. He is known as the father of Czech music. Due to his compositions of patriotic sounds and themes, he's also known as the father of Czech nationalism. He's actually German, not Czech, but he and Dvorak were two principal Czech composers of the 19th century who will be highlighted today. Both composers chose national subjects for the program music and operas with freshness and vitality, together with traces of folk-like tunes and popular dance rhythms. Known for one of my favorites, the overture to the opera The Bartered Bride, which I saw the lyric years ago. Beautiful opera. And the symphonic cycle My Country, Ma Vlast, which portrays legends and landscape of composers' native Bohemia. Smetana was a gifted child prodigy. He played in a string quartet at 5 years old for the Emperor of Austria at the age of 6. Smetana had an immensely difficult life. His first wife, Bettina, died of TB very young at only 24 years old in 1884, and his second wife, Katerina, after 10 years of marriage from 1849 to 59. 3 of his 4 children died young. He fought poverty throughout his entire life. At age 50, he was plagued with hallucinations and turned completely deaf, and was also admitted to a mental asylum. Yet his output of compositions was considerable. He wrote 6 musical landscapes, string quartet, symphonic works, Czech dances for piano, and a total of 9 operas. Smetana would send his music to his friends Clara Schumann and Franz Liszt for feedback. He was influenced by Liszt, Wagner, and Berlioz, known as the Progressives. He is credited for establishing the National Theater for Czech Opera in Prague. He wrote, quote, "I am Czech in body and soul." So let's hear our first piece. Daniel?